Last weekend, I received my COVID booster shot, and like many of you marketers who are using Marketo, we're starting to ask the question, when do we include real life events in our marketing communication plans? It's an interesting question, and it prompts the discussion about how we incorporate event programs in our Marketo instance for real world scenarios. We've been spending so much time over the past 2 years on virtual events that I think the art of conducting a real world event is sort of lost at the moment. One of the things where we specifically see a change, I guess, in terms of the tactics is when you're actually trying to track the number of people who are attending your real world events. We spend all this time sending out invitations and reminders and attendance reminders to be able to gather registration and build awareness of our events. That once we actually finish and we're starting to gather the number of people who are attending the events, many a times we're sort of hamstrung by using these antiquated methods like using list imports or even gathering business cards because of the rules and restrictions at, let's say, a trade show or event or a conference. But did you know that Marketo actually includes a tablet app that's included as part of their software? So you can use this app on your iPad or on your Android tablet to be able to look up the event that is scheduled to be happening within a week of today's date and look up the actual people who are registered to attend that event and check them in. And the benefits here are tremendous. Imagine that you are able to actually get and trigger real time communications as the moment that you step in and check in through the front door with, let's say, the sales rep that's assigned to you or a event host or an event organizer, so that we can deliver personalized content that tells you how can you specifically engage with this particular event. Where do you find the booth on the trade show exhibition floor? What is a special deal that we have going on for you right now? What are the events that fit the agenda that you've registered for? You name it. There's a lot of different ways to be able to use this app to your benefit. But sadly, not a lot of people know about that the app exists, and we've even heard rumors that the app might be scheduled to not be included in future product roadmaps. And I think that's a tragedy. So we're going to dedicate this Marketo Minutes episode to talking a little bit about events programs in real life and making sure that you are aware of it to be able to use it for your next real life event when you start to resume those. My name is Michael Tucker from the Conversion Store, and welcome to Marketo Minutes. Okay, so we're going to start off in our Marketo instance looking at the parking lot party, which is the example program that we've been working on for the past several weeks in each of our Marketo Minutes episodes. And this was based on a session that, again, we were covering it for Adobe Summit back in 2020 at the beginning of the pandemic. And so one of the things that we had in this program was a nested event program. So the overall program is in an event program called Parking Lot Party, but we are going to focus for today's session on this program that is called EVT Media Room, and it's specific to an audience for press, for like reporters and people like that are going to be doing local remote coverage. So think of like local radio stations, local television stations that maybe they have advertising agreements with the event hosts. Maybe they have different relationships basically where they're going to do just straight publicity coverage because they're bringing in a major country superstar for this event. And so what's happened is the hosts have set up a separate area for the conference, and this happens at Adobe Summit as well too, where there's a separate area for people who are either executives or people who are industry analysts. And it's a media room, and so those of you who have a public relations background probably recognize this. And so what it is it's just an area that you can check into within the event for media personnel, for reporters. And so what we've done with this is we've built in a trigger program that will have a couple of different email assets, but we just built this one email asset here that basically says if you check into as soon as you check into the event, we are going to send you a welcome to the event email specifically for media relations. And so if you look at it, basically what we did here for this example was just have a quick introduction email that just had Christina and I in our bios. And this could be linked to a landing page that had each of our bios. But you can also put in copy in here that's specific for media analysts. Just information about the credentials, contact information for a publicity or a public relations liaison, all sorts of other information. Those of you, again, from a public relations background would be able to speak to this much more than I could. But that's basically this. This email is not going to be triggered by a Marketo date and time, an arbitrary date and time. It will be sent by the tablet when you check in as a media relations person. So if I check in on the first day of the event, I'm going to get the email a couple of minutes after that for the moment where I check in. If I check in on the second day, I'm going to receive it then. I can send up drip emails that will arrive a couple of hours afterwards if I want to. So how is all this powered? Really, where this begins is this is powered by program status. So we're going to talk about program status in much more depth a little later on, but we do need to cover it here just to be able to advise you of how the program works. So I'm going to right click on my admin tab and then open in a new window, and we'll go to that admin tab for a second here just to show you program status. So you find this inside of the tags area on your admin panel, and inside of channel you can see that this program was a live event program. So I'm going to double click on that. And you'll see here, this is unique for statuses for event programs, is we have invited, waited, waitlisted, registered, no-showed, attended check-in, attended check-out. All of these have different steps, which we'll talk about in another section. But you'll see here that we have a second set of fields that are called system mapping fields, which give you drop downs that are specific for the mobile app. So your setting, and you have a finite set of these, you can see they're none, waitlist, registered, and attended, because those are the only settings that are available in the mobile app. So you are basically mapping your program status to the system mapping inside of your program. And what does this mean? So this means when you change the setting inside of the tablet app, you are also updating the program status for each of those individuals. So in this case, we are basically having people who are registered and then attended. So if they're registered, we'll be able to see those in the app, and then we have the ability from the iPad or the Android tablet to be able to move them to attended, which then changes their status in the program to attended check out. Now, let's go back to the program for a second and explain what that means. That means if you have, and this is all sample data by the way, so I want to preface this, that if you have 12 people who registered for the event, and you have a set of triggers that are built in here for check-in. So we'll go to our assets tab for a second here and just show you exactly how that works. Is that the moment where they check in, we are monitoring this inside of Marketo, and we build triggers against the program status. It says, okay, as soon as you've been checked in, we're going to run you through this flow. We're going to we're going to remove you from the list that is the checked out list, so we have a sense of attendance altogether. For the media room. So if the media room is built for 12 people and we have 14 people that are in there at the time, really important that they have a good experience. So we're going to send an alert, for example, to the publicity team. So that's a unique way that you can use your check-in and check-out field. And then the other piece is we're going to have the media relations email. The email that we just showed you here is going to be sent to you, and it's triggered so it hits them at a in a real-time capacity based on when they checked in. So there's nothing special about this. This is literally a program status is changed to attended checked in, and we then go ahead and fire through that flow step. So that's really how the program's working on this end. The only other thing that I want to share with you here is that in order to properly have this particular program show up inside of the app, it has to be scheduled within a week before or after today's date. So you have to, you can see our old episode that was a Marketo Minutes episode that was about scheduling email content and scheduling event programs by going into the schedule section. But to use the app, you literally have to use the schedule functionality so that you go ahead and schedule this entry and you pick the date that you want to schedule this event program to be. So I picked a date that's a couple of days after today. I'm recording this on March the 20th, 2022. And so this falls within that period of time. So now we're going to flip over to the tablet app and we'll just show you a little bit about how you move through that app and how it relates to this specific program. And at the end of the day, what this is going to do, just to give you some context, is this is going to move one of our registered guests into attended checked in, which is, and move them through the step automatically without having to do any list imports or any other manual processes. The moment that the person who's the experiential marketer that's on the ground, that's handling the check-in desk, is making that update on the iPad app, you'll see the update live inside of Marketo. Okay, so we're going to start off by just doing a quick search for Marketo Events. So just keep in mind that's what you're looking for. And inside the app, three simple steps. So log in, and once you put in your credentials, you'll see a list of all of the event programs within 1 week of today's date that are scheduled. I can scroll through the registrants and I'm going to pick myself out of the list of registrants. Or if somebody new comes, you should see at the top of this screen a plus symbol that you can tap on to create a new registrant to your event, and you simply click check in, and then on the very top right, you can't see it on this specific version, but I have a sync button that allows you to sync this data back into Marketo. So if you don't have internet access, you can press this at a later date. Okay, so now when we go back to our event program and we go to take a look and do a refresh on the summary view of the program, you'll actually start to see that we've made updates to the program. So we now have the one event guest who has checked in, and we also added a new event guest from that from using that plus icon. And synced in a brand new person who came to the event but wasn't registered to attend the event. So the event actually created a brand new lead that was acquired because they came to the event. So this is how you use the event program for check-ins. Now you don't have to use the Marketo template, the tablet app to be able to do this. There are plenty of other event applications that integrate to Marketo. A good example of that is Cvent, that they also have a tablet app, has a lot of functionality inside of it as well too, that really complements what's in the Marketo app. But if you don't want to buy any other apps, this app is included with Marketo, and so you can use it in both Android and in iOS and iPad version. And hope you find this interesting. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at hello@conversionstore.com.